Most people go about naming their beneficiaries without giving it much thought. Naming their spouse, or naming their spouse and then their children in their wills, and on the beneficiary designation pages of investment accounts and life insurance policies. Few people remember to check periodically or to check an inherited account. But situations change. We change jobs, we move an account from one bank to another or one broker to another. Names get dropped or are not added. Designations get changed or should be changed but are not. The problems this creates can be a real headache for heirs and beneficiaries and create unanticipated and unwanted situations. Imagine an inherited IRA which passes to First Baptist Church. Which First Baptist Church? Where? Is the person who inherited it even a Baptist?
In Texas, your spouse cannot inherit from you after you divorce unless you make an affirmative statement that that is what you want.
Texas law does not govern your 401k, 403b, or other qualified, meaning tax-deferred funds. These are governed by ERISA and by the rules of the plan administrator. If your spouse does not sign and file a waiver before you get divorced, she remains your beneficiary afterwards.
Your spouse may still be your spouse when you die, but your spouse may remarry. Many of us hope that if we die first, our spouse will find a companion for the later years.
What happens then? If your spouse dies before her new companion, your money could pass to him, and then to his children. One way to prevent this is to create a pair of trusts. One would go to your spouse, and the other would go to your children at your spouse's death. Another would be to create a trust which supports your spouse during her life, but then goes to the children, or to your children and her children from current or previous marriages. Creating and administering trusts does cost money.
A third approach is for your will and that of your spouse to include a statement that they are made by contract, promising not to change them in order to protect your children's eventual inheritance.
You can't prevent your spouse from marrying after you are gone. You may even think that companionship is a good idea. You can, however, each agree that whatever you have inherited from one another and all your community property will pass to the children, not to the new spouse. Your spouse could leave his or her other separate property to someone else, but the inherited property and the community property would pass to the children.
Many people's principal investment is their home. To pass this to the children, or whomever you and your spouse choose, you and your spouse can sign and record a ladybird deed, or, depending on the circumstances, a transfer on death deed.
The deed could even be to a trust, naming children and grandchildren, but not that pesky son-in-law. These deeds are revocable. Unless the deed says that title passes on the death of the surviving spouse, that surviving spouse could change his or her mind. One way around this is to create a qualified interest in real property trust. There is more to consider than the possibility of a pesky son-in-law. Your children's lives and your grandchildren's lives will change. One child may become ill, unemployed, widowed, divorced. You may have a grandchild with special needs.
You may have children or grandchildren who could use a little motivation, whether to finish school or to stay clean, or not to rely on the trust as their principal means of support.
Many of us have little to leave anyone after long years of retirement. We may need simply to check with the plan administrator of our 401k to see that what there is will go where we want. But if we have more than a remembrance, a trust can help account for changing circumstances. The trustee can make discretionary distributions based on the standards we establish. We are the Garrett law firm, Elder Law Austin. We provide legal services to residents in Central Texas. Follow us on Facebook, watch our videos on YouTube, or visit our website, elderlawaustin.com, for more information. Those links will be provided beneath this video. Unlock your future.